Hey, this is Robert at Guzzi Fabrication. Now, I've put this video together for all of you DIY guys and gals working on your projects at home. Some really low buck, simple tips and tricks to make crisp, straight, beautiful body lines. You don't got to spend a lot of money or have a lot of machines to do it. Just a little elbow grease. Lead pencil. Now I'm going to show you these blocks. These are Dura blocks. You can buy them individually or you can buy a set. They're not that expensive. Very handy to have. And now this long paint stick was free at Home Depot. They'll give you a couple for free. Now you just want to make sure that they're nice and straight, not bowed or crooked or anything like that. And these came from the paint store, free too. Now this green tape, this is a must. This is 3M tape. If anything, splurge on this. Now this car that we're working on that I'm going to show you is a 1963 Impala. Now first, make sure, this is step number one, make sure that the hinges and bolts are tight. Make sure that the door's not moving in and out. It's latched. If you've got to put some tape or something so it doesn't move, make sure your gaps are right. Okay, now we're going to require some guide coat. That's what that black is on the back. You can use expensive. This you just wipe on. Or you can use a $2 can of flat black. Now you don't want to stand too close or apply this too close. You don't want splotches. You want to just dust it on, make it kind of look like a cloud. You really want it to be nice and uniform and light. Don't put heavy coats on. If you have access to a paint gun and a compressor, you can also over-reduce some black with thinner. Works great too, a little bit easier than the spray can. But hey, $2 spray can, no cleanup, boom. Okay, so now we have our guide coat applied uniformly. Now, I've already blocked this car once and it has high build primer. You need to use high build primer. Okay, so with the lead pencil, accuracy is the key. We want to find the peak. Like I said, I've already done this procedure once. We want to find the peak of the body line. And that's going to become, you'll see why in just a few minutes. We want to be very accurate with this because this is going to be a guide. Okay, our 3M tape. Now this tape, all tape will stretch, it will bend, it will deform. Don't want that. If it happens, tear it off, start over. If you're not happy with your line, take it off, start over. Just like pinstriping a car, anchor. Then you pull the entire length of the vehicle. We don't do panels. If you've ever looked down a car that's been pinstriped and the line's all willy wonky, that's because they didn't do it in one continuous step. They did it by the panel. And now once you get it where you like it, and the line is straight, okay, now you can see those pencil marks. Every once in a while they'll pop up. That lets us know that's a visual reference. Hey, we're following the peak of the body line that we want to make crisp and straight. This is critical. Do a light pressure first because this tape, if it's not stuck down, it'll move, give you a wiggle. Don't want that. Okay, so we're going to start with 120. And if you buy the continuous rolls, then we're going to switch to 180. If you buy the continuous rolls, a lot less expensive than buying pre-cut stick-on sandpaper. Yeah, like half. And now this is a really, really critical step here, or a really good tip. Now we want to break that, crease that to form and stick that sandpaper on securely. Because if it's loose and you start sanding, well, it's going to make, it'll sag, it'll cause ripples in the sandpaper. Yeah, you're not going to get good sanding like that. You can actually dig lines into the primer. Yeah, we don't want that. Nice crisp duck down. That's good to go. Okay, so when we start, we want to use nice even pressure and come all the way, sand all the way to that tape. You really want to pay attention. When you start to nick the tape, you need to stop. We're using the tape as the tape edge as our guide for our straight line. Now, if your bodywork hasn't been done correctly, well, yeah, that's going to really start to show, because you're not going to be able to keep a nice, consistent edge. And the sandpaper will load up. That's another pitfall. You don't want clumps of primer that you've sanded stuck to your paper. That's going to cause you problems. Just tap that off with your hand. Keep rocking. Now this is another area that you want to pay attention. Your gaps or your transition. You don't want to put a bunch of work into making a nice straight line, then have it dip or do something stupid right on an edge. Yeah, that's going to blow up all the work. You don't want that. You want a nice straight all the way. Ditch the blower. Use your hand, wiped off the dust. You don't need particulates in the air. You don't want to breathe it. You don't want it in your eyes. Notice that I'm wearing a respirator. The proper respirator. Those little wood masks, that's not a respirator. And we're just taking our time. And you notice that I've switched to the DuraBlock. Okay, the paint stick was a really hard, rigid, and that makes our crease of our line. Now I'm kind of blending in with the DuraBlock, and I'm switching to another shaped DuraBlock to match the contour of the body. Otherwise, if you use one block throughout, you're going to put sanding lines. You may not see them, but you'll see them later. And if you run across a spot that needs attention, mark it immediately. Otherwise, you'll lose place. Here's another great tip. We don't use sandpaper on areas like this. We use Scotch-Brite. If you use sandpaper in there, you're going to cut lines for sure. Then we blend it all in with a circular motion. Boom, done. So now we've already completed all of the sanding on the top side of our tape. Now we're going to pay attention and be really accurate. Our line depends on it. And if we haven't destroyed that line by sanding, now we can use that as a guide to lay that tape, butt it right up against it. And if we sanded correctly to that line, It should be no problem. Now we're going to pull our bottom tape. You can see the pencil mark. And that's going to let us know that we're still on the correct track. And we're just going to repeat the steps that we did on the top side. And the main thing with this is just paying attention, taking your time, not getting in a rush, getting the right block for the contour.